Everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
Hey, and I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor, by the skin of my teeth.
Yes, we are 1 minute late. I apologize.
I apologize.
Rob's running around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit, trying to cram some stuff in before I leave town for a few days.
Yeah, you're doing what?
I have tennis playoffs in another state. So
Denver.
Yeah.
Nice.
With Chris, actually.
Cool.
With Chappie. So
what else have you been up to?
Big news in my life was I saw my dad for several days in I don't know, I guess it's been a couple of weeks now.
What state?
In North Carolina.
Nice.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him in nearly 30 years.
How long were you gone?
7 days.
Oh, that's a long time.
I spent time with him pretty much every day, and yeah, so that was really cool, fulfilling.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll see my dad more often, and I'll also see my aunt and uncle more often. They're in their 80s and they're out there too, and I got to spend time with them.
That's great. Well, I did a 30-day yoga challenge.
Okay.
I did it for 33 days.
Switched it up from tennis to the yoga.
And then I actually hurt my back on Sunday.
Oh, no.
So I haven't been able to exercise, and I hate that I'm not able to exercise. So.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
The lower sciatic, once that pinch hurts right here.
You did it.
I don't know. It hurt the day before, but then I went to yoga on that Sunday, and then yoga was like putting the nail in the coffin.
Really?
Because after that, I was like, oh my God. Well, yeah, I know, because you're supposed to open your hips and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, folks, so we have some interesting numbers to go over today.
Yeah.
And I thought the headline today would be the Las Vegas real estate market is crashing. In a sense, people think that it is, but
right.
We will shed some light as to what is really going on. I actually have picked up, business has picked up for me. I've been out yesterday, today, tomorrow, Friday, bam, 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 showing a lot of new construction homes. And I cannot wait to go into further detail what's going on with new construction.
Yeah, I've been busy too. I've had a fair amount of business.
Are your listings selling?
Everything's selling. I have one trouble one, but that's a long story, and it's now I had to put into the MLS that it's got litigation going on. So yeah, that's there's a good reason why I can't get that one done. So we'll see what happens with that one. But everything else, yes, gone. Of course, people that want to get their homes sold have to make some decisions.
Yes.
Smart decisions right now will save you money in the long run. So.
Right. Well, ultimately, the resale is competing with new construction, and that's always been the case.
Yeah.
However, you're going to really have to compete with new construction because they are giving the barn away, in my opinion. So if you want to be a competitive seller, you're going to have to be open to the offers that are coming in and give some things away and give some incentives.
Yeah. Well, I just, my last video was on watch what the builders are doing.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So yeah.
So we're on the same page there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, if you want to sell your home, look at what the pros are doing. And the pros are the builders. I mean, not just us as, we're not always selling our own homes. Obviously, we're selling homes for other people. But either way, that's been sort of a lot of what they're doing has been things that I've been advising sellers for months now. And it's interesting to see the builders, like, that's probably through the years, it's probably where I got, keyed into how they do it. Okay.
Right.
Buyers or regular sellers should do similar things.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we are going to go into the numbers. Las Vegas home prices fell for the third consecutive month.
My shocked face.
So let's do this.
This is my shocked face. Not shocked at all.
All right.
That's because we're crashing.
The market is crashing, folks. So there were 2002 single family homes that sold last month, which is down 3.1% from July and down 37.6% from the prior year.
That's the number right there, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's like,
and that was when we're a very anemic time for listings availability.
Well, not really, because if I compared the number of listings from this time last year, it's roughly the same.
We were on the decline though,
right?
So and there was an incline of buyer activity,
right?
So comparatively, that's
right. But the shocking number is, and I have some like references to go over, like I did last time.
Okay.
The median price went from $465,000 in August to this month at $450,000. So it dropped another $15K.
Yeah. Well,
so it was like 10, 15, 15.
So yeah, we got to check out what our predictions at the end. So stay tuned for what we predicted and who. Well, yes. I don't even remember. I just know that I did my prognostication and I said between 15 and 20 on my video recently. So
right.
I got that right.
So it was 3.2% down from the prior month and still up 11.1% from the prior year. So in this video, it's going to be a long one. As always, 1, we're going to go over the numbers. 2, we're going to go over builder incentives. And 3, we're going to go over who won the bet.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So 650. 650. Now, I wanted to go over what the median price was in January 2022, the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning of this year, the median price was $435,000.
Yes. So take that into context.
Take that into context. It's now at $450. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the beginning of the year, January, we didn't have much of an increase. February, but remember March, April, May was like bam, bam, bam. These like huge chunk of increases. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Okay. It was just monstrous.
Yes. Monstrous increases. So then I wanted to compare to this time last year, August 2021, and the median price was at $405,000.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then August 2020, the median price was at $335,000. So remember, currently August 2022, we're at $450,000. August 2021 at $405,000, and August 2020 at $335,000.
I think this is great. I'm glad you put this into perspective.
Yes.
Because this is where, crashing. Yeah, we're saying we're titling it that, but what we're really doing is settling. It's settling down. It went bazooka bananas.
Yes.
And really,
the first 6 months this year saw the most increases, I think, ever.
Yeah. Absolutely ever. I mean, just unbelievable movement. And so we are now seeing the opposite effect of that. And there's, as we know, there's that reason that the prices exploded, but also what's the other reason? There's only one other reason.
What you keep on saying.
Yeah. interest rates. Interest rates are the only reason, really, when you pair them with high prices and higher interest rates. That is what's doing what it's doing. So this is why we're being cheeky when we say the market is crashing. Right.
In reality, it's coming back to reality.
There it is. That's a great way to put it too. In reality, we're in reality.
And we're in reality. This is where it should have been. It shouldn't have gone so cray-cray.
Yeah.
And now we're just kind of coming back to earth.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been kind of forecasting this for a little while. Yeah. It's been interesting to see month to month how the expression has come out, and that's why we like to do these.
Yeah, and I think things are shifting again. I see a lot of more buyer demand.
Yes, well, we're going to talk about that too.
Yes.
I have thoughts about that.
You have thoughts about it. Okay, well, we got a couple questions. Let's get into those, and then we'll start the next segment.
These questions.
All right, so glad you made it. There's a song.
Thanks, Lionel.
There's a song. So glad you made it.
Yeah.
Give me some love. And I wonder if I'll get any credit from you guys for seeing this coming. It's only going to get worse.
Sure. Sure, you get all the credit. We never said any of this without knowing that you had said it first.
Yeah, I mean, we
suppose.
never said it wasn't going to happen, right?
No,
I
of
mean,
course not.
we knew that the train was hitting the station and it was going to go.
Yes.
You know, there's only so much you can climb.
We always caveat things
Right.
with like, okay, this is what's happening now, but hey, later, you know. I mean, I never thought for a second, and I've always said this. I think you've always agreed is that we want healthy. We didn't think that these crazy leaps and bounds would last.
We're using the term crash very loosely.
Yes.
Maybe it's more of a clickbait for me.
It is. Of course it is.
But we're just saying that the market is coming back down to reality, and in essence, it's not really crashing. It's just it should be where it should be.
Well, yeah, and you always have to take a look at he's saying not true. You guys actually never. That's so. I don't know who you're watching, man. That's not ever how we acted.
Oh well.
Anyway, yeah. So you have to take a look at what's happening. What expressions are making this happen? What causes these things to happen? And that's what's been important. That's why you can't sit here and say this is a crash when 2008 happened and beyond, when everything really took over and just really crashed. That was a crash because there was nobody pulling the purse strings on it, nobody controlling, not the purse strings, but the ventriloquist or whatever, the puppet strings. Nobody was controlling that at that time. It just completely got out of control. That's a true crash. What we're seeing right now is like a controlled demolition.
Oh, yeah. It's totally controlled. I mean, that's a good way of putting it as well.
Yeah. And what they're doing, and
because if the interest rates never increased, we wouldn't be here right now.
No, we would not be here right now. Now, it doesn't mean it wouldn't have slowed down or we wouldn't have,
maybe not seen such drastic increases.
Yeah. So I certainly think there would have been a peak there. But one of the things that I'm going to explain this in some videos, but I have this new way of explaining like inflation.
Okay.
And in actually comparing it to inflammation in your body. Like, okay. So, right now the Fed is trying to quell inflation and they're basically taking large doses of Advil and Tylenol or maybe something even stronger. And they're making sure not to eat. I mean, they're making sure not to eat inflammatory foods. They're putting cream on. They're doing things to make sure to not have more inflammation and or inflation. Mm-hmm. Okay. But they're going to drastic steps to do so. And maybe even shutting down their activity completely. Like they're not, if I play tennis and my elbow hurts and it's inflamed, maybe I just need to stop playing for a while. It's the hardest thing to do, but it's going to be what's best for me in the long run, right? That's kind of the way I think of it right now. They're putting the ice pack on the inflammation.
It's a Band-Aid, putting a Band-Aid on it.
Well, but even more to just quell it down. And then in the long run is why we do that, right? Why they're going to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's just something I wanted to kind of put in the mind right now. What we're seeing is that kind of an action. It's being controlled in a way. I mean, in a big way.
VMC wants to know what your channel name is.
Rockstar Realtor, Rob Howe Rockstar Realtor. Sorry.
ROBH.
Yeah. ROBHAU.
Okay.
Realtor.
And then would love to purchase in Henderson, Green Valley area, but only willing to pay less than $400K.
The reset is coming. Well, we're in whatever reset you want to call it. The reset. I'm not even going to get involved. The reset happened, and now we're seeing expressions of that, and it's going all over the place.
Right.
But yeah, you might be able to get something soon in that price range. It just depends on what you're going to settle for.
How big of a house?
Yeah, you get a smaller house, you can find it there. Yeah.
400K is probably still doable.
Sure. Why not?
Right now. Yeah.
Why not? I mean, we're seeing, and I can, our median list price right now is 480, which is still a little high, even though our median home sales price is 450. It means, there's some lower stuff there, and even in some of the better parts now Summerlin, maybe you're gonna, have a little hard time.
Yeah, you won't be able to. Maybe not a condo, but not a single family home.
Not quite yet.
All right, so Pat, you want to read what Pat says?
Pat, how about the fact that Lake Mead is drying up and there's no water coming soon? Who wants to live someplace where there's no water in addition to the sky-high interest rates. Well, the sky-high interest rates, if
That's
you will,
across the country.
that's everywhere.
And there's no water in Arizona,
the
California,
West Coast
New
is suffering
Mexico,
from
Utah,
a water shortage.
Colorado.
Yes, the West Coast.
The West Coast.
This is absolutely
Southwest.
a drought in the whole West Coast, and so I don't know.
And we've talked about this in all the videos. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about this, and I don't think that's an area that we should really focus on. But I
No.
think the fact of
I
the
won't
matter
get into
is, the number one thing is that Las Vegas does not consume as much water. We only get a fraction of that water compared to what California uses from the Lake Mead, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we can't control global warming right now, but they have a plan in action, and I don't think that they're going to let it go so desolate that there's going to be no water.
I mean, my general the rule of thumb is that when millions of people are in jeopardy, somehow we figure it out.
Right.
But look, it's a problem, but I don't think that we're just going to dry up and then suddenly the town empties out. You know, that's a long way off, and there'd have to be a lot of very poor management ahead. There's already been poor management of this situation, but if it have to continue to the point where it was,
but
like,
the state
ridiculous.
of Nevada has been probably the number one state that knows how to conserve water.
We have been ahead.
Yes, we've been ahead of the game.
And there's more coming
for at least 30 years.
What's the governor saying right now?
What the businesses and the
governor, they've got a little, I mean, he's got a little panel he's putting together, and he's trying to figure out what we can do to even do more. That's going to continue.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've taken advantage of that water thing in the early 2000s.
Change out your front yard.
Sure,
I mean, there's going to have to be sacrifices made, and I think this is all just like, duh.
But who needs to really take the sacrifice is California.
I mean, this is
in all honesty, where that water goes to. I mean, if we've been for the last 30 years conserving water, then these other southwestern regions need to be doing the same thing.
Absolutely, 100%. This is clearly a West Coast thing. When you're relying on the Colorado Rockies to deliver your water, a lot of it, and then that's not happening. You need to be able to do something. And again, I just feel
we
like
just need it from the East Coast. They're getting tons of water.
Boy, aren't they? Yeah.
We need to figure out how to get a channel.
I know. You go over to some of those rivers and they're overflowing.
Fill up a boat full of water and dump it in Lake Mead because they got plenty of water over there.
So I guess that's your answer there. You don't want to live on this side where you're worried about it. Don't live here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So would rather purchase on all cash on a home, $2,500, $300. Well, I mean, it's not there yet.
You might be able to find something,
but not in Henderson.
Listen, cash is king, and it's going to be very, very. It's like extra king, ahead. So I say, if you're holding on some cash, you want to buy a property, you're going to have some deals ahead, and maybe even right now you could go out and muscle whatever you wanted to some degree. There's always going to be thresholds. And that's the thing that I've been saying over and over again. Sellers will hold the line, and they're already starting to. And that's what we're going to go over in more numbers as we see them unfold.
I guess let's hurry up, finish these questions so we can continue. I like Outdoors with Jeff, or how you would say it. You said Jeff. How do you say Jeff? Geoff.
Jeff? What?
You said that last time we had the video that this is how we would say Jeff, not with the G instead of the J.
What? I don't remember.
Oh, never mind.
I don't remember.
Anyway, he says they said it because he's defending us and saying that it would end. Also, they said they wanted a healthy market for months.
Oh, Geoff. Yes. I don't remember. I think I said Geoff, but I don't know. Thank you, Jeff. Yes, that's absolutely what we've been very consistent about this. We're not morons, and we want to have work for a long time. We want to be able to retire on this work, and
right.
So
we tell it like it is. We like to tell the truth, and
Yeah, it's just this, and I don't think of this as some sort of gold rush where like we're just going to dig all the gold and it'll be gone.
Right.
No, this is something that it's more like a crop, that we want to continually have good soil to grow out. Right. So that's more how I think about it.
All right. Well, you know what?
We got a lot of questions.
Yeah, we got to get to the numbers.
Yeah.
I wanted to go over
Thanks, everybody. Keep
Yeah,
them coming.
thanks.
We'll
We
get to
love. Don't we love
Yes.
interaction?
LOVE. I know how to spell that.
We love it. All right. So I wanted to go over the median price for condos and townhomes. Right now, the median price went from 271,800 in July to 264,900 in August, which is down 2.5% from the prior month, but still up 15.75% from the prior year. So I also did the same thing, which is only 6,900
Yeah,
decrease,
I think
which
that's
is
still
not
showing some strength there,
yeah.
because it's where naturally people are having to go, and the rental market is really what's continuing to spur that.
Right.
You know.
So I also wanted to compare. I forgot to pull January, but for August 2021, the median price in condos was 229,000, and for August 2020, it was 185,000.
Just bonkers.
Just bonkers. So the reason I wanted to compare last year's median price and 2020 median price is that even if we go down to 405 or 400,000, we're still a median price. We're still above last year's median price. And and just because it may seem like a crash and it's so drastic, but like I said, the numbers are finally coming back to reality.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to compare.
be happy about it. I mean, really, it's weird. It's a weird thing to be happy about, but it's, in a way, this is responsible. Again, it's a controlled thing. And you have to really kind of take that perspective,
Right.
If you missed the train, I'm sorry. Like if you didn't sell and you wanted to sell and you should have sold a few months ago, we're all sorry.
Yeah.
But you had the opportunity. Everybody had that opportunity. And now the opportunities are shifting. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We got to roll with the punches.
Yeah. We roll with them. Everybody's got
talking heads would say.
Yeah. Right. And people will always be selling and they will always be buying. I don't care what market happens in the market. It's just a matter of the volume of that.
Right.
So. For
sure. So then that brings us to the luxury market. And last month, there were 110 homes that sold in August that were $1 million and over, compared to July's 97. So it's a slight increase, 13. And the median price also increased in luxury market. It went from 1.3 to 1.399. Yeah. So it's been kind of continuously up and down like that.
I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because inventory is still pretty low in that category. You haven't been seeing a lot of luxury homes come on the market. Many of the sellers are like, no, not touching it.
Right.
They're just backing off and they don't want to put their property on the market. So what's there is there. And then there are those buyers who are like, crud, I'm not seeing anything else. I still need to move. I still want to take this action. But and they also know if they're using any loans, I better hurry up and get that out of the way because it's going to cost me more when the rates move up again. Very good chance of that happening. So, they're getting it done.
Speaking of, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last market update. I went under contract in a home in Summerlin West, Pueblo Village, or Paseos Village. And all the houses sold for 1.1, 1.3. This house was listed at 950. So already they've gained equity. We made an offer at 940, plus they were covering $10K in their closing costs. So already they have gained equity because the houses before were selling at 1.1, 1.3, at same size, same model, blah, blah, blah. Right. So, I mean, they got, I think, in my opinion, a very good deal.
Well, yeah, at least they don't feel like they overpaid. That's for sure.
For sure.
And so you got a little, you're hedging a little bet there that way if things go down even further,
I mean, I knew there was not going to be an issue on the appraisal.
Yeah. Well, that's right now. we're definitely, somebody asked me on my channel if there was, appraisal issues, and the answer is really no in general, because
they're still going off how appraisal works is they go off the last 6 months of sales. So,
so we might have some issues coming up, but right now, not so much.
Right. Yeah, totally.
And it's not as if the appraiser just comes out there and goes, oh yeah, the wind's blowing this way today, so we're going to drop it. No, the strongest thing for an appraisal is going to be pretty much number one is going to be what the comparable sales are. And then maybe you have like your upgrades and what was the other thing? Upgrades and something else. Location, I guess. I don't know. There was something else that. Sorry, I spaced on what that other thing.
Actually, spaced what you're talking about. What were you talking
what's
about?
important on an appraisal?
Oh,
like
okay.
the most important factors, and one of them would be the comparable sales,
Right.
And one of them is upgrades and
lot size.
Well, not necessarily.
Pool.
Those upgrades and I guess things that the property has. But anyway, I can't remember that other thing.
Oh, well. Let's get to the numbers. All right. So now we're going to the number of new listings. So we had 4,008 new listings for the month of August, which is actually down 10.1% from July and slightly up 0.6% from the prior year. So what I did was I also wanted to see what that 0.6 was. So for August 2021, we had 3,985 new listings. So it's just a slight increase.
So what we have here are two intersecting things. In August last year, we had downing. The inventory was going down, and this year it's going up. So we're doing that, right?
Right.
And but this is indicating something.
Well, what this means is that even though we had the same amount of listings as we did in August, so I wanted to compare year over year because, and my thoughts is like there's not an aggressive amount of listings coming on the market. Well, what's happening is those listings aren't selling. Yeah.
Well, yes, and it's good to. This is kind of what I mean about the sellers holding ground and deciding to change. To put the wind in the sails a different direction.
Right.
Because this is indicating that, yes, there's inventory coming on, but it's not as if it's just lumping on and nothing is moving at all.
That's my point.
Right.
My point is it's not like an aggressive amount of inventory coming on the market compared to year over year.
Yes.
It's just that they're not selling as much as they were year over year because of the number one thing that we've talked about, interest rates.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and people are getting the message and saying, you know what, we'll stay put.
Yeah.
There
is available homes that have no offers, 7,997 single family homes listed without offers for the month of August, which is up 9.1% from the prior month and up 145.6% from the prior year. So that's double, right? Triple.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot from last
it's
year.
More than double.
No, I didn't analyze it.
It's 1.5 times.
But the prior month it was at 7,300. Okay. So last month for July is at 7,300. This month is 70. It's not that huge of an increase. This to me is saying that things are stabilizing.
Well, and again, this is the decision making of the people who have homes. This is the need in which you might have. And somebody has said it many times on my channel. I think they've said it here too. They've said it many times that why would you, if you're a seller right now, why would you trade, sell your home and trade that really nice interest rate that you have if you don't feel like you're getting what you need out of it? So unless there's a need, people are like, no, I'm not going to sell right now.
Exactly. Well, let's get to some questions.
Yeah. What she said.
Watching another stream. Vegas has become the mini California with these exuberant prices.
Yeah.
Economy sucks. We're in a recession. Interest rates are going higher.
Yep.
There's only so many rich people from California that will pay cash.
Absolutely.
Pierre,
especially when they can't sell their home there.
As Summerlin experts, any news on Red Point Square and the urban square in particular? What shops will be there? When the timeline? What about Grand Park?
That's going to be all you.
I don't know. Not even the builders know. I mean, they just know it's going to happen. And I mean, I'm there all the time, but I don't even know. Maybe I saw something happening, but I don't know, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not even the builders over there, the new urban core that's going to be built on Summerlin Parkway.
Oh, the shot.
Yes. There's also going to be in the Kestrel Village off of Lake Mead, and the Kestrel Village is going to be a little shopping area there as well.
Good. They needed
it up there too, right by Reverence. But again,
it'll take time.
They just know bits and pieces just like us because Summerlin doesn't advertise what's going to happen.
Yeah. And they're going to, take time to lease those shops and get the proper vendors in there or whatnot.
I mean, they need to start fast, because the only problem or the only downside about Summerlin West is the lack of shopping. You have that on Foothills, you have the Albertsons little shopping center right there, but that's pretty much it. Then you have to go across the way to the freeway on Charleston to get any other conveniences.
Well, and this is something that you see anywhere there's been rapid development. It's happened in Vegas all my life. There'll be an area that gets lots of housing, and then it's really anemic on the commercial side of things for a while. I mean, you think about Mountain's Edge, they only just finally got a whole bunch of stuff that's out there now.
Right, you're absolutely right.
So like in the last 5 years,
especially the Southwest, how it's taking forever to
get those roads
in order.
So this is typical of Vegas and really any city that grows fast.
Yeah.
And
then how is Blacktail selling? They just opened on the 27th of August, I do believe. I was actually there today. They've sold handful of homes or lots already. I really like Blacktail, but we're going to get into more detail once we talk about new construction. So I'll answer that further. Yeah. You want to read this, Pat Hater?
Is it Pat Hater? Did you say hater?
Well,
Pat
how would you
like
say
a hater? Yeah,
it's hater, right?
Hater. It just sounded like you said hater.
Well,
and that's funny because Pat is being a bit of a hater on Vegas. Because Pat's the one that mentioned about Lake Mead. Right. I just wanted to confirm that. You're all in denial. Go ahead and order it from Amazon. Lots of luck with that one. You'd have to be crazy to buy in Las Vegas. Absolutely nuts. Okay. Where I want to know, Pat, and we do appreciate any kind of comment.
Yes.
These are fun to answer and talk to all the time. So one thing that I'd want to know, where do you think somebody should be buying? Where do you want to buy if you don't want to buy in
Where
Vegas?
Would you like to live?
Yeah. I mean, because there's all kinds of reasons to say that you don't want to live somewhere. I've heard it all my life about Vegas. So I'm not really, I mean, I can't defend that. If you don't want to be here because you're concerned about water or any other thing, if you're concerned because people are degenerate gamblers here, I've heard
too
that
much prostitution,
or that you can't control yourself because you're going to go over and use the prostitutes and the gambling. Well, this sounds like a problem that you shouldn't be here for. Then,
we can't. I mean, if you can't control yourself, then.
But I understand what you're saying. If you have that concern about the water here, then why would you? Why, But to me, that's, I don't know. It's fear-based.
I mean, Rob has been here all his life.
Yeah.
And I've been here for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And has water been an issue or concern to you?
For the last 20 years, I would say there's been, the red flags have been there.
Yes.
But ultimately, what concerns me is the management of the water. That's what's been concerning to me.
But is it the Vegas end or the Nevada end of the management, or is it the management on the other regions?
It's everybody's got to kick in. I mean, it's one of those situations where we're using a resource, and it's ultimately a precious resource for human life.
Right.
So I understand the fear.
And now are all these people saying don't move to Phoenix because they have the same situation? Are they saying don't move to California where they utilize the water? Or are they saying don't move to St. George?
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of stuff you could be concerned about like that. I mean, somebody could say the exact same thing. Let's make this argument because somebody could say the exact same thing about buying a Tesla right now.
Oh yeah. With I heard a lot about it with the energy. Yeah.
I mean, it's not really apples to apples here, but it's still something to think about as far as the fear-based, like reasons why you're not going to do something. And although I actually, can kind of be like, well, that is kind of crazy. You're telling me California is going to say no more gas-powered vehicles, and then the very next day they come out with we don't want you charging your electric vehicles. That's the worst messaging ever. Oh my God.
Yeah, because the biggest thing was that us Nevadans or Vegas, we got a text saying energy consumption, don't use energy, or have the temperatures at 78 degrees from 5 to whenever when it's the hottest part of the day.
I mean, there's been stuff like this throughout the last 20 years that I've in Vegas, a long time that we've had these energy warnings, like we are, we can get to, we're using ACs everywhere in the town. So we can really hit that power grid. And so it's not a surprise to me that every summer it's like, hey, you know what? We're juicing up the power. Why don't you kick back a little bit?
Yeah. Thankfully, next week it's going to go back to the 90s.
Yeah. But anyway, that's just, I mean, I don't what.
All right, let's get to the other questions. All right. So Lionel says, Angela's on fire. California uses half the water our state gets from rain to facilitate fish. Why should Las Vegas pay, or why should Cali get any water?
Well, that's an extreme version of it, but yes, California should be able to. They actually have a pretty big water resource,
and they get how much? Did you say feet? Did they get?
They get nearly 4.5 million acre feet of the water out of Colorado River, not Lake Mead, the Colorado River. And the thing is with that is the most. Colorado is next, which is the Colorado River. They get the second most out of every. Guess where Nevada is?
At the bottom.
At the very, very, very bottom. So let me tell you, if you're worried about it, it's the management. Okay. It's really look, we have a massive drought going on. There's nothing we can do about that except manage what we have, manage the resource.
Let's all have a rain dance.
There you go. I like that idea.
Rain dance. All right. So outdoors with Jeff.
Outdoors with Jay. Hey, what's up? I like Jeff. So are we going into a new age of interest rates? 5 to 6% looks really good when you look at the past 40 years overall. We started seeing these interest rates in the 3s starting in 2019. The short answer is yes. I believe, Jeff, you are correct that historically these interest rates are not actually high. My first interest rate on my first home, I think, was at 8 and change.
But you also got to take into perspective the prices were a lot lower when it was at 8 and change.
I bought my house when at the peak in 2006. It was a rough ride for a while.
Right.
Okay, I got lucky to be able to hang on to that.
Yeah, but the peak was at
we've exceeded the peak.
Yes.
By a fair amount.
More than 100,000.
But the point still remains. It was something. It was still a monstrous market. Now, of course, that was because people were getting loans with no skin. They had no skin in the game.
Right.
So there was a rigged system to have 8 and change interest rates. So, but I do think that somewhere around the we could if we go up from here, which I'm going to save my little prediction for later. But if we go up from here on these interest rates, I think that. We will, when we do kind of settle back down, it'll be somewhere around where maybe we are now, or maybe just edged back around the 5, territory that you could expect for a longer term rate to kind of stick around.
Right. I know we got a lot of questions, but we also want to, skim through the numbers so that way we can just focus on questions.
We got lots of questions. I love it.
Yeah. Let's go to the rest of the numbers because we're almost done. And then we'll, because I also really want to talk about new construction. All righty, folks. So
this is a good one.
Yeah. Which brings us to the housing supply. We increased to 4 months of inventory. The last month in July, it was at 3.5. So it was a 12.6% increase. But if you compare it to last year, it's 293.8% increase from last year. I think last year I saw it was at 0.7.
Yeah, it's like
0.7 months.
Tripled.
Yep. And this has changed. Houses on the market for 30 days or less. So for the month of August, houses were on the market, or 71.7% of the closings was on the market 30 days or less. 83.6% was on the market in the month before. And then for year over year, it was at 87.8%.
Yeah. So everything ticking the way you would expect it on that. But that 4 months of it, we're going to get to some interesting stuff that we tried to predict.
So that is the numbers in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Now time to finish up questions.
All right.
Jennifer Johnson, how long before the sellers get real with listing prices? Are they listening to you?
They are. They are. Not all of them, but they are. The ones that have to sell are going to listen. Because the market speaks.
The market does speak. However, sometimes some listing agents will just take it take the deal, the listing.
Oh, sure.
Because whatever the seller wants,
and
not
hoping
have a
that,
good conversation with
Yeah.
the seller, letting them know, hey, I don't think this is realistic.
well, of course, and that's always the case. But what we're seeing in this moment, we know that the median list price is still $480. That's, our sales price is $450.
Right.
So sellers are still trying to get more than what they think they can get, or what they can really get. But what a lot of these agents hope on, and I have been guilty of this before, to some degree. Let's put it intelligently. I'm guilty of this, but I'll take a listing maybe higher than I think it's going to sell at, but I'll give them the speech. Hey, listen, we can give this a shot. This is always your call, seller. But when this market starts speaking to us, if it does, will you be willing to do what's necessary? You want to have a plan of action ahead? So we'll try to have, I always want to have, like, what's our next steps? And funny enough, even if they don't want to have that conversation, they will if they need to sell.
Right.
So, you'll usually get it done if somebody needs to. Now, if somebody's just like, again, these, dream listers that want to just, that's my price, I just want to get it, shooting for the stars.
That's not the time.
That's not the listing I want to take.
Right.
I got to take the listing that somebody, I see your motivation. I know you need to get this done. We're going to get you the most money. Absolutely. I think doing that responsibly up front is the best way. But if you absolutely must test it your way, all right.
Right. All right. And then she says, are you still seeing buyers make offers over asking even when they don't need to because they are clueless? No, I haven't seen any.
Not really. And if they're working with us, they wouldn't be clueless.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would not. I think, with us being so experienced in selling that, my buyers are like, oh, some of them don't know how to negotiate. And
that's what we're here for. Yeah, absolutely.
We're here to get you a deal, and we're going to be bulldogs. Well, at least I'm going to be a bulldog about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be aggressive.
When you smell the blood in the water, right?
You don't know until you try. Yeah. Honestly, you try to get as much as you can, and then it's negotiating after that.
And, the other side of this is sometimes a buyer needs to be willing to lose it. Like, okay, we're going to take an aggressive approach, but you have to know that you have to be willing to to not get this one.
But there's so much inventory out there now that they're
going to be more willing.
There's going to be more willing because now the sellers are competing with other sellers.
Absolutely.
So they're going to be willing to probably depend. It's all about how desperate they are and how much they really need to sell the home. 100%.
And that's another thing I've talked about a lot about is, and I've got a video out about it. It's how to smell the deal, how to see the deals, how to get that deal right now.
Right.
And there's a number of ways. And one of the ways is to know what that seller's motivation is from the buyer side.
And to have a awesome agent.
The agent is the one who's you're going to be the one. Listen, number one rule, get a good agent.
Yeah.
Really.
All right. So let's see. Water will not be a problem as cities cannot survive without it for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
People will riot and go into hysteria.
Absolutely.
They will build a pipeline so fast. Well,
yeah.
My thought is though that what brings to my mind, and I don't watch too much news. I say, hey Alexa, do flash briefing for 5 minutes. That's my news for the day.
Oh boy.
But wasn't there some city in like Tennessee? In the South that had tons of rain, but then they ran out of water and they didn't have water for a minute.
I'm not recalling that.
Okay. If anyone knows that story, let me know in the comments. So it can happen, but like the VMC will say, they'll get a pipeline in so fast, and they probably already have an underground pipeline, right?
Well, the lake has one that's right on the bottom now that they've finished and it's done, and that's the reason why we have X amount of years before we would run out of drinking water here. And that's the other thing, like how long before it's like, hey, listen, you can't use water for anything but this X thing, this thing, that thing, the other thing.
Right.
So I think you're right. Generally speaking, this is a general statement of, hey, when we're up against the wall, human beings have a way of figuring out how to solve the problem. So I generally would go that. I hope it doesn't take that. I hope it doesn't take hysteria and riots. But
Oh my God. If If our country didn't spend so much money sending money to Ukraine, maybe
Oh,
we'd have
boy.
money over
Oh,
here in the
boy.
States. But anyway, I didn't say that.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's get
Yeah.
to the questions. You want to read?
Okay. We flush our water from the dams down the drain. Sure. The water in Las Vegas might be an issue. What about earthquake in California? I mean, there are issues everywhere, and the big one is coming. I live in San Francisco and building in Las Vegas. Hey, Pierre. All right. Yeah, no, look, not rooting for anything bad to happen anywhere, but that's reality.
All right, so
That's reality.
the reality is there are no natural disasters in Las Vegas.
Whoa.
Hardly ever.
We could have an earthquake.
We could, but it's just the seismic or leftover residuals from California.
No, not necessarily. We have fault lines.
But it's not.
But they're unlikely.
All right.
They're not likely.
Tornadoes, hurricanes.
We
What
can
else?
have tornadoes.
But very unlikely.
Very unlikely that they would do much damage.
All right.
Hurricanes can't happen.
My point is that the only issue we have when it comes to weather is when it's friggin' hot in the summertime. But that's the same thing.
I mean, that's the right thing to say.
That's the same thing with Arizona. I mean,
Yeah. Listen,
Arizona's 10 degrees hotter. But anyway, my point is, now you made me lose my point because you're interrupting.
Sorry.
We don't have
just
any
two of
real
us.
natural disasters
Well, yeah.
compared to everywhere else in the country. California has earthquakes. What else does California have besides earthquakes?
Fires. They got fire.
Fire. I'm surprised. It's been a very mild, fiery summer.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, I think I would worry about on the climate change aspect if things could get so bad so quickly that we just, get burnt up by the sun here.
Right.
That would be a problem. But I don't, I don't know what the reality of that is. And
well,
that
the
sounds
average
like,
temperature in
movie
summer
stuff.
is like 112. It's not that bad.
Look, it has been hot, really hot all my life in this town.
Yeah.
So when people come here and they're like, oh my God, it's like, yeah, I mean, I know we might have hit a recent record, like maybe last year or something.
But compared to those places that get to 100 degrees plus 100-degree humidity.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the other thing is we are a sprawling concrete jungle.
Yes.
So that the more that we build, the more concrete, the more streets, the more the heat, it can feel hotter in this town. And I assure you that it's almost like a tractor beam that's attracting the heat. So there's a number of, I don't know, I'm not qualified to know how this all works and, the big story of climate change. But I think it's like your point is that we have to worry about that wherever we are, right?
Right.
There are things.
There's an issue for every city, every state that you go to.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Either
choose wisely.
Yeah.
Choose wisely.
Either you're going to
What
worry
are you worried about less?
Kansas and tornadoes and Florida and hurricanes, or there's always something.
What are you worried about less?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. The properties are still, they're still, the point was that they are going back down and they're going to be in a more realistic pricing as where they should have been for 2020. Because in 2020, we were on track for continuing to grow. So I think once we get back to a realistic number, we're going to stabilize and have a healthy market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. How do we do? Yeah, here we go. We got new stuff filtering in. Wait. Did we? Oh, we're all the way down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, dollar was
remember the dollar was devalued by 20 plus. See, this is a smart statement that you're making that I don't know if I can wrap my mind around it. Adjust the nominal price to inflation. Yeah, I think you're right, but I'd have to discuss that with you in person or maybe more VMC. Say more, because you just elaborate on what you mean there. Are you talking about Jackson? I don't know. Jackson? Michael?
Jackson, Mississippi?
Jackson, Mississippi?
Could be.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I'm in LA.
I thought it was in Tennessee. Oh, it was in Mississippi, I do believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the rain thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in LA and I worry about daily about the big one can happen today. Yeah, I mean, look, my cousin lives out there. He lived through some big giant ones that were really scary. And yeah, I mean.
Yeah. All right. We got some other topics.
Yeah, we have clean water. That's cool, right? The water we do have is clean and drinkable. So
the average rate on a 30-year home loan last month was at 5.22%, down from 5.52% in June, but up 2.84% in August 2021. So in August 2021, it was at 2.84, and we're now at 5.22. So it was going up and down. For a minute, it was at 4.99.
Yeah, the bond market was really keeping it low, even though there was some big movements in the Fed rate. So now we're starting to see that not be the case. So your rates are a little higher right now.
Yeah, and
in this very moment.
Well, a lot of people, or I should say lenders, are getting into creative financing.
They better.
And this is where your adjustable or your arms are going to start coming back into play, where they're offering like the first year this, second year that, blah, blah, blah. So what that said is that the new construction, what happened with new construction? Okay. The builders, a lot of builders built what's called quick move-in standing inventory or spec homes. The market was so hot that they couldn't keep up with the demand of the buyers. So what the builders did was they got smart and said, you know what, let's build a bunch of stuff starting in October, get it approved. All the, I can't think of it. Get everything ready because of the shortage on what's been called supply chain issues, etc. So they had a lot of spec homes ready for a very beefy spring season. Okay. If the interest rates didn't rise, then those spec homes probably would have sold. But what happened was interest rates kept on rising. The builders couldn't get rid of these homes, and they can't get rid of these homes. They had some fallouts. Exactly. So what's happening now is they have so much stock, quick inventory, spec homes, things that'll be ready in the next 30, 60, 90 days. They need to get rid of it by end of year. So what they're doing is they're giving the barn away and offering a shite load of incentives. Okay. So I've been super busy these last few weeks, and this week especially, showing a lot of new construction. Now, real quick, I'm going to take a side turn. I kind of slowed down on my YouTube channel making videos because, one, I was taking a little vacation. Two, my mind wasn't really real estate oriented per se. I was really just like enjoying my time. But things have shifted for me, and I'm really getting back out there and doing videos every day, recording. I'm doing videos on all the new construction homes, what incentives are going. I'm going to start posting videos every day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
And also start doing drive-through video tours of neighborhoods.
Out at the barn.
So I'm starting to get serious now again. Okay. So with that being said, the builders are giving the barn away. So we're going to go over all the builder incentives that I am currently aware of. Now, there are still some builders that aren't even offering anything because they didn't do the spec homes.
They don't have the inventory.
So they don't need to give the barn away. Once all these spec homes are gone, then they're not going to have as many big deals, I think, as they do now, because they want to make their year-end numbers and they want to get rid of these for 2022. Does that make sense, guys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Basic supply and demand here, right?
All right. So for Toll Brothers said that they're having their big sales event that starts September 10th through October 2nd, and they're offering limited time incentives. However, when I go on the Toll Brothers website, they haven't really disclosed what those limited time incentives are. However, they still are offering 3.99% interest rate on a 30-year fixed interest rate on a conforming loan, or 4.25% on a jumbo loan for only the quick move-in homes that are eligible to close by January 31st, 2023. Okay. Yeah. They are also offering on a lot of these communities a 6% co-op to real estate agents.
Sweet.
So that's how much they want to get rid of their standing inventory.
Yeah, they want you to come there first and last.
And they also too want to close out a lot of these communities. They're pretty much on their last lag. They want to finish up and close out. And, it'd be interesting to see what new construction communities do pop up in the near future, if any.
Well, they'll have their plans. They may back off some of them.
Right.
If they still have stuff to finish, they're going to wait on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So then Taylor Morrison is offering up to $50,000 on a new home. Your monthly payment could be lowered either by, there's different ways of using that up to $50,000. It depends on the community. One community, which was City Canyon, they're offering like $36,000 in incentives where you can use towards your closing costs and buy down your rates.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, but the caveat is you do have to put 20% down to take advantage of that option.
Yeah.
Now, some of these builders are starting to do building from the ground up, where it takes 8 to 10 months to build. For a long time there, they were only just having the spec or the standing inventory homes. But now some of them are actually, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel where you can actually start finally picking a lot and building from scratch and being able to choose your options. Okay. Next is Pulte. So they have this thing going on right now. They're offering an adjustable rate mortgage. On the first year, they're offering at 2.99%. On the second year, 3.99%. And the third through 30 years, it's 4.99%. And by then, the interest rates may be lower. You can probably refinance.
Yeah. Well, you can't promise anything, but you can know that you're sort of hedging on not the worst interest rate.
Right. Yeah. And also with Pulte, from what I understand just the other day, they're offering up to 6% towards closing costs and or other incentives. Yeah. I did go to a community the other day in the Northwest. I'm not going to specifically say which community. If you want to know, you can always give me a call.
Oh, look at that hook.
But anyway, they are offering, it's what the builder is saying, make me an offer. So what this agent, the sales rep at this community, said that they're taking up to $60,000 to $100,000 off the price of the spec home, because they have a bunch of spec homes as well. Yeah. So that means that she was saying that basically you're getting the base price of a house with $100,000 in upgrades for free, kind of. Yeah. Well, I mean,
they're just pricing in what's happening.
Yeah, I know. But still, I mean, Well, I've never seen it like this before.
Yes, and it's wonderful that they're responding. Speaking of something that I have been saying very consistently through the years, is they would do this. Didn't I say? I've said it for like, hey, listen, the builders are being jerks right now because it's like bonanza time. Now you see the opposite end of it.
Right.
And look, they're being smart because they need to compete, because they need to get these homes sold, and you as a buyer should be smart too. If you have the need to purchase, you should take advantage of that.
In my opinion, I think it's better to buy new construction right now than resale. Unless you can find a lender that could top what these lenders are offering.
Right. And you may be able to in different ways. You see, because you can, and on the residential side, you can get some of this out of if the seller has a lot of equity, you can get them to do a lot for your for your deal. So that if you can get them around about where they need on their price, but then build in a bunch of goodies inside the deal, so it really just depends.
And then, as we talked about in last market update, about asking for a lower price or having the seller pay for your buy down and closing costs, where it would be cheaper to keep it at the price that it is and ask for all of those back end stuff than lowering the price and not getting anything on the back end. Your mortgage payment would be cheaper.
Absolutely. I think that's smart. And it's just kind of like hedging your bet a little bit. I mean, it depends on the price. If they're reasonable with their list price, then maybe you don't need to go in and knock down the price. What you really need is to get some of those goodies inside the deal.
Right.
And that's virtually what the builders are doing.
Right.
They're trying to keep their sales prices where they need them, and then load some goodies in there.
But now they're getting desperate where they're saying, bring me an offer. So they'll take anything.
Well, but desperate is relative, and it's only looks that way because of how massively amazing they did earlier this year,
right.
And
in the last couple of years.
Yeah, last couple of years. So they're just scaling back a little bit like everything else. And sort of coughing up what they need to make things happen.
Right.
If they don't, then they won't get things sold, and that's the reality. So
yeah. All right. So the last, oh no, I have two more. So Century Communities is still, they extended their purple tag sale. And if you lock in, you can lock in an incredible 3.875% interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate for an FHA and VA loan when you finance with their affiliated in-house lenders. Or you can get, and only 3.5% required for down payment. Or you can finance it at 3.875 for your first year on a conventional loan.
Mm-hmm.
So wonderful. That's, not wonderful. For 1 year, you only get it at 3.875. Then it's going to adjust back to whatever rates are going for right now.
I only 1 year. Yeah.
Well,
they're banking on the idea that people think the rates will come back down in less than a year.
Right. And available when available only when your home closes on or before September 30th.
Okay. Well, you better hurry the hell up.
Yep. And then Lennar, I think they're still offering. Lennar has still always been one of those builders that are kind of like a little hairy because some of them, their communities still state on the website, and I don't know if this is the case, that they don't offer any co-op incentives for the buyer's agents. But from what I understand, and I couldn't find anything anywhere about the current update, but Lennar said that for a limited time, they're offering a 3.99% interest rate on a 30-year fixed loan for all their quick move-in condos and townhomes that close in August and September. And then 4.5% interest rate on a 30-year fix for the quick move-in single-family homes. So they don't really disclose that much.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of great things to say.
So let us know in the comments or call, text, or email us if you would want to learn more about all the quick move-in homes that are available from the builders across the valley, and or if you would like us to do a live video going over those type of builders that have incentives and quick move-ins available.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it.
All right. Let's get to questions, and then we're going to go over who won the bets. And that's it. Then we got to wrap it because it's my nappy time.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Lionel. You want to read it?
Yeah.
Wait. It says nice haircut. I like the haircut. Whose haircut? Rob's?
Oh,
I haven't had a haircut, so it must be you.
Yeah. It was 111 here, 116 in Fresno, and 109 in Las Vegas on Monday. Where I don't know where here is.
He lives in like Central Coast, California, Big Sur area.
Absolutely hot. It did cool off to 64 here, but hot during the day. It cooled to 88 in Las Vegas and 86 in Fresno. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it's hot on the whole damn West Coast.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Can you negotiate with new construction beyond what they are offering?
Yes, of course.
That's kind of what we went through. But it does depend on the builder.
Right.
Like Lennar, maybe not.
Well, she did say bring in an offer. So
Lennar did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed that
the
part.
Sales rep. But there was like Beezer. I went up to Beezer, and they're not offering really any incentives. Maybe your standard 3% of closing costs if you use their in-house lender. TriPoint, same thing. They're offering 3% towards closing costs if you use their in-house lender, and also 2% if you're paying cash. But TriPoint is really not offering too many incentives that I'm aware of, unlike the other builders, because TriPoint, makes sense now because they didn't do all the spec and quick moving homes like Toll Brothers did and Pulte Homes did. Taylor Morrison
didn't get way out ahead.
Yeah, they didn't get way out ahead.
Yeah.
So that makes sense why they're not doing.
They just may be priced right. So you do have to do a little shopping and see what the prices are. I mean, they wouldn't offer
the builders are not selling, like they don't have the wait lists where you have to wait months before you get the lot.
Yeah.
Like TriPoint, Kings Canyon. They have lot releases and they still have lots available from the previous lot release. So they're not like before. It was very hard to get into that community.
Yeah. And what they'll do in those cases, in those builders, they'll just be patient.
Yeah.
They're not going to really try to, they're low overhead at that point because they're not building a bunch of stuff and paying for it out in advance. So it's just a salesperson in each office. When somebody comes in, you like the lot, you want to buy it. All right, great.
Right. Right. All All right, we got a question.
When using the 3.85% for the first year, how does it work with the debt to income? If you're at 50% debt to income with a 3.85%, is it likely to go higher the next year, hence more than 50% debt to income? Okay, so it's not. It sounds complicated, but it's not all that complicated. What they're asking is, if your debt to income is higher, which would normally mean that you would have a higher interest rate, that your interest rate is based off of what your personal financial situation is.
Right.
And so if you have a debt to income, and debt to income is how much debt you have versus how much income you have. If you have 50%, that's considered relatively high. Yeah, not in a great place necessarily. So you might have to pay a higher interest rate. You're getting punished because you don't have the greatest situation, basically credit. Overall, I guess that's what you could call it. So my guess is that, yeah, there could even be qualification issues going in, just depending on that. So, but maybe, I don't know. That's one of those things that you'd have to
talk to a lender.
It's a very detailed question about, and it's a very direct question.
Right.
So
that's something that you would have to talk to the Century Communities lender to see what exactly that would entail.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Lennar at all. I love the building and the construction of Lennar. I just don't like that I don't get paid.
Yeah, that's they were ruthless. They asked, why do you dislike Lennar so much?
It's not so much. It's just because I could have probably sold 10 Lennar homes this year. I sell a lot of Lennar homes, especially in Summerlin, but I could have sold it outside of Summerlin because Summerlin does give me a commission. But outside of Summerlin, they don't give me any money. So that's why I'm like, Lennar is one of the known builders that just didn't offer us any money.
It's just a really cruddy way to do business in our opinion. So speaking of opinion, what's your opinion of Woodside? I like some of their designs.
Woodside's great.
I like them too.
Yeah, Falcon Crest, the new single-story community in the Kestrel Village. You know what, folks? I really love the Kestrel Village. Just the beautiful mountain views in the backdrop. Then you have, city views look beautiful. I think it's, no offense, better than Red Point.
Yeah.
Have you been up to the Kestrel?
I have not.
You need to go up there.
All right. You
need to check it out. But it's my new favorite village. And it's close to the house.
Oh, yeah.
It's straight up Lake Mead.
Straight up there, yeah.
But anyway, so, but Woodside's a great builder. I've sold quite a few Woodside homes. And, Lennar, too, the nice thing about Lennar is their everything included package that they have.
Yeah, no, Lennar has a very easy type of home to sell because it's like, here's what you get.
Yeah, what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
pretty much. But anyway, folks, we're gonna wrap it up. But
we have some things. Yeah,
we have the bets to go over. If you want some more questions, please ask them.
Get them in quick.
Right. Yep. Because I get very crabby if I don't take my nap.
So this is what y'all been waiting for. We hope.
Right.
Which is, we had some bets on what the
market was going to do.
Yeah. No, you go ahead.
All right. So we always bet on three things. We bet on the median sales price. We bet on without offers. And then we bet on months of supply. So last month for median price, Rod predicted that there was going to be a 13,000 decrease. I predicted a 10,000 decrease, and it was actually 15,000. So obviously, who wins?
Yeah, that's me.
Rob. He always wins.
I on my prognostication, I predicted between 15 and 20. It was after we did our thing. I started seeing some more things, and I was like, I think this is going to be a little higher. So,
all right. So without offers, Rob predicted that we would have a total of 8,000 homes on the market listed without offers. I predicted 8,200. I was playing the prices right.
She played the prices right.
And it came into, I should have gone the other way, 7,997.
Wow. I missed it by 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
I got to read this one because since you're reading my wins.
Okay.
Ange got to win here, folks.
Finally.
Months of supply, which is funny because when we did this, I remember you going, well, that doesn't really jive with what you're saying about the without offers.
Yeah.
And you were right, because months of supply, I said 4.3. And at the time I did think that we would see a little more, increase there. And Ange said 4 months. it was actually 4 months on the dot.
Finally won something.
She got it. And you know what? It was shortly thereafter that I realized it was not going to increase as much as I thought.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't, because then I probably would have lost. Because if you picked 4 months, I had to go somewhere else.
Well, good one though. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we predicting this round? Should we jump right into that?
Yeah, real
Do we
quick.
want to make quick predictions?
Yeah,
Okay.
real quick. Yeah. People asking me, should they wait to buy or should they continue to wait? This is my thought, my vision.
Mhm.
What I'm seeing is I wouldn't wait till next year, or at least until February. Once February hits, I think we're going to start seeing everything going back and being normal.
Maybe so.
That's my feeling.
Yeah, it's
What
really.
are your thoughts on that?
It's so, it's really hard to know, because I think the Fed is still going to be pretty aggressive right now, and I'm thinking, and I'll just jump out on a prediction that I think is going to happen. It's pretty easy to make at this point because they've signaled they're going to be aggressive. I think we're going to have another 0.75 in interest rate increase at the end of the month. And that's where I think that's going to happen. So they're continuing to ramp this up. Now, the idea would be...
Well, that's why I'm saying it's better to go new construction if they're offering 2.99 and all this incentives.
Well, especially if they're going to hold that through these next increases.
Right.
So a lot of people think they're going to do this big round of up, and then they're going to see what they want and then start chilling it out by the beginning of next year. I'm starting to think that it's going to take longer than that. For that chill out to happen. And when it does, I think that the market actually what's going to happen is a lot of these people who've been waiting and not deciding not to sell might be diving in all at once. And in trying, you might see some increased activity of buyers trying to buy as well, because that's what the sellers are trying to target.
Right.
So like you said, it may get back to a normal market, but that normal market might leave you with less choice as a buyer. And even though you maybe pay a little less as interest rate, you may end up paying more for the property. It's just really hard to know. It's so hard to know. Right now,
I mean, based off of past history, where market in Vegas, February is when the spring selling season starts.
Yeah. But this is going to very much depend on a few things, right? So, but my overall feeling is the number one indicator of whether you should buy or not is what you have to rent. So if you're renting right now, the rental market is not getting better. It's just not. It's getting worse in some ways,
right?
Especially just price, because people are being priced out of buying. So then they're forced to rent. And anytime you have that forced to rent situation, it means the landlords are in control. It means that the rent rates are going to stay at least where they are, and they're already pretty high. Speaking of exorbitant, I mean, that's where things are high. So it is going to be a continued motivation. So if you're in that situation, my advice, just like I think yours would be, is go take advantage of these types of things that the builders are offering, or even that the sellers on resale market are offering, which will help you buy into a rate that was yesterday's rate,
right,
and get a lower price. And as long as you have a monthly payment that you feel comfortable with and can afford and is better than renting, well, you've made yourself a nice little bed to lie in.
Because if you think about it, if the prices do go down, but you still get it at the higher interest rate, you're better off getting at the semi-higher price with the extremely lower interest rate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
but I don't think extremely lower interest rates are around the corner by any stretch.
No, but I'm saying if the buy downs and you take advantage of these incentives and stuff like that, then it's better to take advantage of that way.
And you got to do it soon, because what's going to happen is sellers are going to hold the line. So if we continue to see, and that's what we're going to talk about next, median home prices dropping, then at some point, though, the sellers are going to go, that's it, folks.
And the builders, too, are not going to be offering incentives, because their goal is to get rid of all the standing inventory. That's why I'm saying, if you're buying new construction, and you want one of these standing inventory homes, if you want to build it from ground up, you're not going to be able to take advantage of these incentives.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we know is now, and pretty much we're always predicting out 3 to 6 months at a time. Right. What we know is those areas. And to me, if you like choice, if you like the idea that you can go and kind of beat up on a seller, and you can get an interest rate that might be 3.5 on a resale, or maybe even on a new home. Those are options that I think people like. But for whatever reason, people like when they're having to fight for a property and have multiple offers. Okay, choose your poison here.
All right. Well, let's try to wrap this up. Let's go over these bets in as fast as we can. What do you predict the median price decrease will be for next year?
For next month. I think we might see, we're going to see a little less than what we've been seeing. No. I better not do that to myself. God, do I want to just put it around the same number? I think I'll put it around 12,500. Let's just say that.
Because I know I've seen business pick up.
Yeah, I have.
I actually have 3 closings this month.
The houses that I'm seeing go into contract and close are the ones that have had more drastic decreases on their prices, though. So that's why I'm saying we're still going to see some more. There's still more equity to chew into here.
It's been 15, 15, 10, or 10, 15, 15, right?
Yeah. I think it'll go. I won't. I'm not gonna.
Help me out here, folks.
Help her out. She's
what do you think?
A friend.
I'm calling a friend. I really want to do podcasts where people call.
It's just a matter of whether you're going to go up or down.
I am going to get tired of buying lunches to Rob. I know. I'm never correct, so I need a lifeline, folks. All right. I'm going to say, be bold. All right. I'm going to say 15K. I'm going to say it's going to continue in that rate. Okay. So
that's probably a good bet.
All right. So I think I'll go first on this one. I think that we're going to stabilize with the homes without offers per what I've seen for the last 2 months in a row. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to increase it by 80. I'm going to stay where I'm at 8,200.
Okay, I'm going to go 85. I'm going to go ahead and Price is Right you on this one.
I know. How many months does Rob win on these friggin' bets? I can't get it right, folks. 8,500?
Yeah.
All right. So months of supply, you get to go first.
Months of supply. We're going to kick up to, I think I got to go 4.8 on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That gives you some hard place. You're in a rock and a hard place.
No, not really. I'm going to be in line with my numbers, and I'm going to say it's going to only go to 4.3.
All right.
Because you only went up to, well, you're going in line with your numbers, so I'm going in line with my numbers.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think the rate change at the end of the month could have some drastic effects. So we'll see. All right. We got some last things here. Yeah. Does the midterms have effect on the interest rate for the housing market, for that matter? I think there's some effect on political stuff always. But it seems to be that right now, in my opinion, that the Fed could care less about politics, because if they did, they wouldn't want to be making these moves. In generally speaking,
all right.
They already, in my opinion, did pay attention to politics by not moving rates back.
Yeah, but if we didn't give trillions of dollars to overseas, maybe.
Oh, God. Yes. No, yes.
I'm going to keep on going to that.
All right. What's up with the time change? I don't know.
Someone getting tired of buying Rob. Yeah, I'm getting tired of buying Rob.
Be bold, smart advice. Prices have to drop. I think you're
right.
They are
dropping.
That. I think you're right. Prices
they're just not dropping in a drastic manner.
Yeah. Well, it's drastic when, people, they're dropping.
Right.
They're not like, but listen, the price, you have to remember that even, screw this. We've been on too long.
I know.
I'm just saying, back in 2008, it took to 2012, beginning of 2012, for the full expression of the drop to happen then. Okay. But again, that was a house of cards, completely different situations and lots of different things that were not in control. Right now we have something in control, which is basically just interest rates.
Right.
And generally speaking, and I guess prices maybe being high overall, right?
Yeah.
It's
just going to come back to a normal market, basically. What went up must always come back down.
Yeah. And yeah. I think I'm happy about it in a weird, not like happy way, but I mean, I'm pleased because it should not be going up and up and away because it never made any sense.
Yeah. I think, we just want it to be stabilized, and in all essence, it's really not crashing. It's just being where it realistically should be. Yeah. Anyway, folks, is way past my nap time.
Yeah. It was a good one though.
It was a good one. You know what? I love everyone's interactions. I mean, it makes me happy when you guys interact. You know, we try to figure out what time's best. Either do it 10 in the morning. That one time we did it was good. When we do it at 12, it's not that good. So 2 is actually a good time, but then it runs into when I have to go to sleep. Anyway, guys, well, I wish you a happy, safe trip.
Thank you.
If you want to reach out to me, my information is down in the bottom. If you want to reach out to Rob. Yeah.
Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor. That's my name on YouTube. You can find me there, and you can find me everywhere. Rob Howe, H-A-U. Now you know how.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully. And we'll see you on the next one.
After she gets a nap.
Peace out.
Later.